This is not a movie. Let us be perfectly, unequivocally clear from the jump. The 2003 event known as Bad Boys 2 is not a film in the conventional sense. It is not a motion picture that one simply watches. No, this is a concussive cinematic event. It is a sensory assault. It is a pyrotechnic opera of magnificent, gleeful, and utterly absurd excess, a 2.5-hour testament to the philosophy of more. It is the logical and theological endpoint of the entire Jerry Bruckheimer production ethos, a cathedral of chaos built by its high priest, director Michael Bay. To analyze Bad Boys 2 is not to analyze plot or character in the traditional sense. It is to analyze the very concept of vehicular destruction, the physics of slow-motion fireballs, and the decibel level of two men shouting at each other while the world explodes around them. Forget the 1995 original. That film, charming as it was a mere appetizer. It was the polite handshake before the full-body tackle. Bad Boys 2 arrived 8 years later, loaded with a budget that reportedly ballooned to $130 million and a director who, in the interim, had perfected his craft of large-scale destruction with The Rock and Armageddon. Bay returned to Miami not to make a sequel, but to make a statement. That statement, screamed at the top of its lungs, was that there is no such thing as too much. At the vortex of this hurricane stand our returning heroes, the yin and yang of Miami narcotics, detectives Mike Lowrey, Will Smith, and Marcus Burnett, Martin Lawrence. Their dynamic, the very soul of the franchise, is cranked to an almost unbearable intensity. Mike, the platonic ideal of early 2000s cool, is still the impossibly wealthy, suave, Armani-clad playboy. His trigger finger is as fast as his silver Porsche, and his primary character motivation seems to be causing the maximum possible amount of property damage while looking impeccable. He is the unstoppable force. Marcus, conversely, is the immovable object, now deep in a midlife crisis. He is the stressed, mortgage-paying family man, the hypochondriac partner who just wants to survive the shift, fix his pool, and not get shot. He is a man teetering on the edge of a nervous breakdown, experimenting with anger management techniques. His desperate, repeated chant of "Woosa" is the film's only moment of stillness, and constantly questioning his life choices, namely his partnership with Mike. Their dialogue is not mere banter. It is a high-speed, overlapping, relentlessly abrasive symphony of bickering. They are, quite possibly, the most dysfunctional and successful partnership in cinematic police history. Their chemistry is volatile, genuine, and the glue that holds the chaos together. The plot, such as it is, exists purely to transport these two men from one explosion to the next. The film opens not with a gentle reintroduction but with a full-blown declaration of intent. Mike and Marcus are trying to infiltrate a Ku Klux Klan rally. It is a jarring, bizarre, and audacious opening, culminating in a massive firefight where Bay's camera gleefully captures the destruction of a racist compound. It's the film throwing down a gauntlet. This is where we're starting. Buckle up. From there, we are introduced to our villain, Hector Juan Carlos Johnny Tapia, portrayed by a perpetually slick and neurotic Jordi Mola. Tapia is not a nuanced antagonist. He is a cartoon of narco-trafficker evil. He is a Cuban drug lord attempting to corner the ecstasy market in Miami, and his entire operation is a front for his sociopathic tendencies. He is a man who insults his enemies with flamboyant flair, dotes on his mother and daughter, and, in one of the film's most grotesque flourishes, hides his cash inside the bodies of corpses in a funeral home he owns. He's the perfect, his worthy foil for our hero's blunt force approach to justice. But the film's true narrative engine, and the source of its most potent comedic friction, is the arrival of DEA agent Sidney "Sid" Burnett, played with a tough, charismatic sheen by Gabrielle Union. Sid is undercover in Tapia's organization, attempting to bust the same case Mike and Marcus are working from the outside. The complication? Sid is Marcus's younger sister, a fact he is agonizingly protective of. The second complication? Sid is also Mike Lowrey's secret romantic partner. This triangle creates a perfect storm of conflict. Marcus is furious at the world for putting his sister in danger. He is furious at the DEA for sanctioning the operation. But his most incandescent rage is reserved for Mike, his partner, who has violated the one sacred, unspoken rule. This personal drama unfolds not in quiet rooms but in the middle of gunfights, high-speed chases, and tactical breaches. Marcus's discovery of the relationship, which happens while the trio is pinned down by Haitian gang gunfire, is a masterpiece of screaming, panicked comedy. The stakes are no longer just about drugs. They're about family, betrayal, and Mike's very survival at the hands of his enraged partner. This framework is all Michael Bay needs to construct his opus of destruction. The set pieces in Bad Boys 2 are not mere action scenes. They are movements in a symphony of mayhem. The director, armed with his signature visual palette, a hyper-saturated, high-contrast world of Miami teal and orange, where every surface gleams with sweat or neon, unleashes a torrent of vehicular carnage that has rarely been matched. Let us speak of the freeway chase. It is, perhaps, the defining sequence of the film and a contender for the most ludicrously destructive highway battle ever committed to celluloid. It begins with Mike and Marcus pursuing Tapia's men, who are transporting money in a car carrier. This is not a simple chase. It is a 15-minute ballet of ballistic madness. The villains don't just shoot, they begin launching the cars from the carrier backward into traffic, using them as high-velocity projectiles. Mike, in his Ferrari, weaves through this instant-death obstacle course with impossible grace. The camera spins, dives, and tracks alongside the vehicles at ground level, giving you a visceral sense of speed and impact. But Bay is not satisfied. He then introduces another van, this one from Tapia's mortuary, which spills its grisly cargo of cadavers onto the highway. It is grotesque, darkly hilarious, and utterly insane. By the time the chase concludes with a 360-degree, slow-motion shot of the Ferrari spinning to a halt between a hail of bullets, the audience is left breathless and slightly nauseated. And the film simply continues from this high point. There is the chase with the Haitian gang, which begins on land, transitions to the MacArthur Causeway, and ends with Mike and Marcus piloting a high-speed cigarette boat through a shantytown on the water, all while dodging gunfire from a truck that is literally dropping other boats onto them from an overpass. There is the sequence where Mike, in a fit of rage, drives his Hummer through the front of Tapia's Spanish-style mansion. There is the rat-filled interrogation scene. There is the morbidly comic investigation at the morgue, where Mike and Marcus must investigate a body part, leading to some of the film's most juvenile and effective humor. But all of this pales in comparison to the film's truly unhinged finale. Having tracked Tapia and a kidnapped Sid to his home base in Cuba, Mike and Marcus, along with a borderline mutinous tactical team, including a young Henry Rollins, decide to invade. They stage an unsanctioned, illegal, one might say, war crime-adjacent, military assault on another sovereign nation. What follows is the cinematic equivalent of a toddler smashing his most expensive toys with a hammer. The climax is an escalating series of unbelievable events. Mike and Marcus drive a bright yellow Hummer H2, a glorious piece of product placement, down a steep hill, crashing directly through a Cuban shantytown. They don't drive around the flimsy homes, they plow through them, sending wood, debris, and presumably people flying in a cloud of stylized destruction. It is problematic, glorious, and utterly mesmerizing. The sequence concludes with a standoff in a literal minefield, a shootout at Guantanamo Bay, and a final, slow-motion hero shot of our protagonists, silhouetted against an explosion, as the sun sets over the American flag. It is the most patriotic and jingoistic possible ending to a film about two rogue cops committing an act of international aggression. Bad Boys 2 is a product of its time. It is a pre-recession, post-9/11 piece of American bravado, a film with an almost pathological need to be bigger, louder, and more extreme than anything that came before it. The humor is frequently offensive, the violence is non-stop, and the runtime is punishing. It is a film of pure sensation. You don't think about Bad Boys 2. You feel it. You feel the heat of the fireballs, the crunch of the metal, the vibration of the subwoofers. It is, in its own way, a perfect creation. It is a film with zero ambiguity. It knows exactly what it is, a colossal, shimmering, deafening monument to popcorn entertainment. It is Michael Bay's id projected onto a screen for 147 minutes. It is a film that batters you into submission with its style, its noise, and its relentless, pounding energy, and by the time the credits roll, you are exhausted, exhilarated, and possibly a little bit dumber. It is not just a movie. It is an experience. It is Bad Boys 2. Woosa.